Sonia, this question has come from a mum. She's emailed it in and she's actually said she has a 22-month-old little boy. He's at preschool 3 times a week, but she's worried because he really doesn't have any language yet. She says at this age, he's really only got 1 or 2 words that he's using consistently. What do you think should be happening in this situation?
And she is probably right to be worried at this stage. At the age of 22 months, he's almost 2. So children at that age, our speech pathologists tell us, should be babbling, should be communicating with intent, and perhaps have a few words. So if this little one's only got 1 word, there's probably a few questions we would also need to ask. A speech pathologist would ask, are there siblings that are doing all the talking for him? Because if that's the case and he's got no need to speak, then of course he's going to take the easy way out. But if he's at preschool 3 days a week, then he's needing to be a little bit independent and he may not have the support of siblings around him. And for a child to learn, they need language. Language is the cornerstone of all learning because it's the only way in which we can receive and express what we know. So for a child of that age, it is probably worth mum's while having him seen by a paediatric speech pathologist sometime between now and the age of 2.5. If nothing else, just to allay her own fears and to find out what's developmentally appropriate. Developmental milestones around children's language are very broad, so there's a big range in what is considered to be normal, and children do achieve those at a different rate. But if mum's concerned, then it's important to at least have it checked out. Now, in most communities, there's a family and community health service that offers that kind of advice and support to families. Often, there's a long waiting list for that kind of free support that's offered through hospitals and community health. So if he's 22 months old now, it may take her some time to have him seen. So my advice is that should she wish to take advantage of that kind of service, get his name on a list now. He may not be seen for 4 months, and at that point in time, you know, we'll have perhaps some more information for a professional. Of course, seeing a private paediatric speech pathologist is also an option. These services are often covered by families' medical health cover. So if a family has a policy, most of these services are covered and get fairly good rebates. So it's important probably to get on it and to think about it. Maybe if you are going to see a professional, take some video of your little boy in the situations that he's in so that you can show the professional what he does in those environments. Talk to the professionals at preschool, get a little bit of an idea of what his habits and what his characteristics are with his language, but never ever ever take language for granted. Often grandparents will say, oh, his father was just like that, you know, Dad didn't talk till he was 4, he'll be fine. Maybe, but the world has changed. We are sending our children out into social situations like preschool much earlier perhaps than when you and I went to preschool, and children need to be able to make connections with other children for their social and emotional well-being, as well as being able to communicate their wants and needs. And often children who have language delays develop other behaviours perhaps that express their frustration when they're not understood, and these things can be misinterpreted by other people, particularly preschool teachers. So if we can help a child to develop good language and address that issue from a young age, their chances of achieving success and overcoming that difficulty become much, much higher, and early intervention is always, always the best option.
Is there anything that the mum and dad could do at home to help him out as well?
Certainly the concept of watching and waiting and letting the child find the words. It's a process for a child to go through their working memory and to think about the speech sounds they need to use and to retrieve the concept that they need to retrieve and then to articulate that. So letting children have time to process that language process is important. So watch and wait, give him a chance to say what it is that he needs to say. Also, when children are starting to speak, extending what they're saying. So if the child says there's a car, mum can say, yes, that's a blue car. So increasing children's vocabulary step by step Most of these things can be done very easily with the advice of a paediatric speech pathologist who will work with a family to find out where a child is at right now, and then how each day, every day, the family can support the child's language and understanding.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Sonia.